I'm going to select my pie piece. I'm going to draw a selection over just my pie piece, nothing else. Hit Command C for copy. Go to my pie piece, click on it, hit Command V, and now what I'm going to do is delete this one because I no longer need it. And I'm going to lock my circle. So if I make my circle invisible, if I toggle it off, now I won't have to worry about all that visual nonsense. I can just work on this. And now what I will do is go to my pie piece layer, make sure if I'm on here, actually it'll just move it, I'll just fix it for me. I'll make sure I'm on my pie piece layer, and now that this is highlighted, the next thing we're going to start doing is adding color. So to add color, you're going to make sure your piece is selected, and then what you're going to do is hit K on your keyboard and see how it kind of changes. You have now your paint bucket tool activated, and if I zoom, I can't really see what's going on though, so I do have to zoom in. Now I can see that I have spaces to drop colors. And what I'm going to do is start thinking about the colors I want to add here. And to add colors, I come to my fill, I double click on it. I can pick various colors that I want to work with. And you have your whites, your tints, your hues, your tones, and your shades. So you kind of go from shade to tint across here. This gets your grays, this gets your hues and colors. That's how you're seeing this, and now you know all about color theory, so you're welcome to pick all these different kinds of varieties. I wouldn't just pick in one spot. I would, as you move around, I would kind of click all over and see all the variety you get. Now what I'm going to do is just click colors and go ahead and add them in. Alright, so once you have your piece colored in, there's a couple things you want to make sure you're doing. You might have to clean up some areas around your work. Like you might have to clean up little bits of things that kind of that aren't super visible. Like see these little dots? You might have something like this. So what I'm going to do over here is click off my piece, draw a selection over here, hit delete, and then where's that other one? You want to make sure your piece is cleaned up before you copy paste, because if you're copy and pasting some kind of little like scattered trash, then it'll show up every single time you paste. The other thing we're going to do is just take this little pie piece and resize it so that it fits into one of these areas. So I have my circle locked. That's important, so that way I'm not grabbing any of these guidelines by accident, but I'm going to use my black arrow to select my whole piece. I'm going to hover on the outside corner to rotate it a little bit. I'm going to also hover in the outside corner to get the double arrow. I'm going to hold down Shift and then change the size of it. Make it smaller so that it fits into here. And once you get it to fit correctly one time, the other ones will be a little bit easier. So it's worth taking some time to angle and to resize it, because you don't want to have too much empty space in your pie piece. You also don't want it to go over the edge. Now, a couple things. If you're noticing that as you move everything around, it's like kind of not letting you pick exactly where you want to go, try zooming in. And the closer you're zoomed in, the more accuracy you have. But that doesn't fix it. Then you go up to here and go to View. Slide all the way down. See how this is Show Grid, Snap to Grid, Snap to Pixel, Snap to Point. If one of those is clicked, unclick it. You just like check, if it's like check like that, you would just click on it so it's not Snap to Pixel. If you have one of those accidentally on your computer for some reason, that's kind of annoying to work with. So now what I'm going to do is it fits pretty good, but now I'm going to take my brush stroke, and I'm going to come up here and just add some brush details now that I know the size of everything that I want, because the brush won't really change size that great when you like do copy paste and resize. But now that everything's the right size, I'm going to come in here and to change, or to do the brush color, to do the stroke. It's like a brush stroke, not a fill. Let's pick some kind of little highlight color. And to change the brush size, if you go to your brackets tool, like if you look at the letter P on your keyboard and go to the right, these little brackets will make it smaller or larger. It's kind of a nice little shortcut. You can also do that up here, but it's kind of faster here. I'm gonna add some little highlights. And I would say just look over at your work and see if you find places where you can add some fun little brush details. Okay, so now that you have all your colors filled in, you've changed some things with the paintbrush, you've done some different edits. You can also, if you need to, you can move some things, like say, I want this to be further away. You can actually do this lasso tool. So you can grab this one little guy here. And now I'm going to hit V on my keyboard. I'm going to grab this little guy and I move him over a little bit. So you can also move things like that if you need things to line up a little bit differently. Sometimes when you do that, it doesn't always grab everything, so make sure you have the whole thing selected and then carefully hit V while it's selected on your keyboard and then click and drag it to move it. What you should be able to do now is take this whole thing, draw a selection over everything, go up to object, and you want everything grouped together. You have all these extra little marks, you have all these extra little features, you want everything grouped together so that way when you copy paste it all comes together. So I have everything selected. Okay, so I copied it. Now what I'm going to do is make sure I'm not going to come over here. If I drag something over here, this will all move. So I'm going to come over here, angle it. Okay, so now I have half of my pie piece done. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to make sure I have a third layer, layer 3. And I'm going to make sure that I have, this is still locked, this is unlocked, but I'm on pie piece layer. I'm going to take a selection with my black arrow. I'm going to click and drag over everything. And I'm going to do Command C to copy it. I'm going to click off of it. I'm going to click onto layer 3. And I'm going to hit paste. Command V for paste. It's going to take a little while to paste on there. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to lock the pie piece layer. I'm going to take this guy and rotate him up. And this will still take a little bit of time to make sure it lines up. You want to make sure nothing's outside your circle because that's one of your craftsmanship goals. You make sure that everything is lined up as best as possible. But if you have half of it done correctly, there's no reason why you can't just take half of it and then copy it.